once it's dried enough that you can handle it, ready to start the brick paper. So I've got my brick paper here. Like I said, I've just printed this off from the company online, and I just get my building, make sure it lines up with the direction of the bricks, obviously, and then place that building on there, on the bricks. Still making sure it lines up. You should be able to see it through the paper. Obviously don't do this until it's fairly well dry. It shouldn't take long though. It's dry. And then just draw around it. Bring that glue over. Then cut across. There we go, there I've got my brick wall, and I'm just going to test that it fits onto there, which it should do if you trace found it. And then, not using PVA glue, because that tends to make it go a funny green colour, and you don't want to make that mistake, because it usually takes a few hours before you realise. Instead, you want to be using Brit stick, like you would sticking a piece of paper onto another piece of paper. Just put it all over, and then stick it on the wall. Doesn't matter if it doesn't quite go all the way along the top. Keep putting stuff in the way, because you'll cover that up with the boards that go along there, like the eaves, I guess that's what you call them, barge boards, something like that. And there, that's the first part of the walls. Obviously you can buy different brick sheets, different colours and things, London brick, blue brick, that sort. This is a dark red brick, and even stone as well. Right, now goes the back section. One side complete. So now I'm going to do both of these using the same tracing method. For the windows, I'll just make sure I cut out a little hole, but I'll do a time lapse so you can see that. So I've now done that bit. I realise most of the time what I'm doing is often off stage, if you like, so I've just moved it slightly this way, move it a bit more. So now I've just got this side to do. It's going to be a bit more difficult because obviously you don't want to obscure those windows, but you can't trace through them because they've already got glass in. So I'll have to find a way to do that. So now that is all done, all the brick paper is done along the whole building. So next is the window sills. As you can see, it's got a bit under there, but that doesn't matter because I'm about to fit a window sill to the two windows. And then after that we're going to do the roof, tile the roof, the guttering and the door, and then that'll be done. Oh, and the chimney as well. So the next stage is the roof. In order to do this, I've cut pieces of card. It's a much thinner card this time, and it's not got anything on either side. And I've just cut them using the roof as a template on the card. I've just cut them to size. They don't have to be very accurate because they're going to be tiled afterwards, so you won't see any minor things as long as they're the same size and they fit. And I've just left a bit of an overhang. When you put them on, you can see that, because most roofs overhang slightly. So yeah, now I'm going to glue these roofs on. Just using the PVA glue again. Next stage is the tiles on the roof. Now for the tiling of the roof, and for this I use tiles that have been obtained on the same website as the brick sheet, albeit in a slightly different way, because they're not cut out to the template, they're cut out with strips in order to give the tiled effect. So 1 or 2 strips is probably enough for the whole roof in this case. So I just cut out the strips. Yeah, as you can see, I've cut out a strip. Lay that on there. Mark it up. And then cut the strip. Shall I use PVA? No, I don't. Yeah, I won't use PVA for this. I'll use Pritt Stick, because otherwise you get the same effect as if you use PVA for the brick. It's kind of a weird green tinge to it that you really don't want. So I'll just put this strip on. It doesn't matter if parts of it are a bit wonky, because tiles are wonky, especially if they're as old as this building would be. So just lay the tiles like that, and then for the next one you have to overlap it slightly over the first one. So I'm just going to mark it out again. That's the sort of green, and you can see that that's the sort of green you get all over. That's not focusing. No, do I focus that? That kind of green. If you use lots of PVA, so it's better to use Pritt Stick. That's probably due to the amount of water in it, I'd imagine, and the way it interacts with the ink. It might not be the same with everyone. Different printers might do it differently. I don't know. So as you can see, I'm just laying it over, and that green has quite a nice effect of, you know, almost mould or lichen or something, and I'll blend that in with weathering, so I'm not going to get rid of that. It's just when you have a lot of green, it doesn't look very good. And then I just continue all the way up with this overlapping. So the roof is now done. There we go. So you can take a look at that. So I've just tiled all the way along it, and I will blend those spots in with weathering. The whole thing will be weathered once we're done. It's starting to look fairly good. So now all we've got left to do is the top of the roof, the fascia boards at the ends, and the chimney, and the door. So next step is to do the flashing on the roof. I guess it will be flashing all the capping stones. So this came with the printable roof tiles. So just cut it to size, the same way that the roof tiles are done. Yeah, there's a whole range of different texture sheets on these websites. They range from bricks, tiles, corrugated sheets, all that sort of stuff. And then there's also kits as well that you print off. Yeah, and they all just print off, and you can do whatever you like with them. There's quite a big range, including road markings as well, which looks quite interesting. And they're what I made all the other buildings for Mellis out of. I find it's a lot easier to work with than brick textured plastic. It's a lot easier to cut and do what you want with, and obviously it's a lot cheaper as well. So there we go, that's the roof capping tiles on. And tiles never stay neat for very long, so it doesn't matter if it's you've got some slight discrepancies in there. Next step is the door. So I'm just going to cut out a piece of card in the same way that I've cut out a lot of this. I've got this card here, the same card I use for the roof, but it doesn't really matter, you could use any card here really. I'm clearing my workspace off a bit. Yeah, try and keep it fairly clean if you can. I don't tend to, but it's quite a good idea too. Yeah. So I'm just going to trace the shape of the door. Right, so I've now cut out the shape of the door. There we go. And just slots in. I made it just right so it slots in the bottom there. Get it right. So it just slots in there. And then it depends on the door you're doing. I mean, you could just do an ordinary wooden door, but this one it was made up of several planks, which were fairly equally done. Obviously, if you choose to, you could have that door open, or not even include the door. Next step, it's the chimney.